Yeah. So good evening, everyone. And thanks for joining us for the virtual launch of Cohort 3. It's really exciting and I'm really happy to, hi Aditya.
Hi, Girish. How are you?
All good, Aditya. So we just started. So the title of this webinar is actually Think Again, which actually from Mr. Adam Grant's book, which encourages folks. I've got a chat message already. Okay, so which encourages folks to think again, and I believe it's very much applicable to the startup ecosystem, where more and more we are experimenting with different ideas, solving different unsolved problems. So that's why we've dedicated this theme of this webinar as Think Again, and 3 is more like it's our third cohort. So it's the third installment of SARTHY Minds. Our first cohort we launched in July with 9 startups, and this is our third cohort. And we make startups fundable. That's our claim. And happy to see that we've been able to do it in the journey. Yeah. So I'll just quickly share about the 2 programs we have. We have the first program called VIP. We started this program a year back, where we used to do assessment of startups and then give them access to VC funding. To this program, in fact, we've added angel funding access also recently, because SAFE is something it's our angel network, which we started in November 2021. And that's how we've got now one more pillar to make startups fundable in their journey. So VIP is more for growth stage startups straight away who are ready for VC funding, have a MRR of 8 lakh plus. We give them access to angel network, our own angel network also, third-party angel networks, and VC funding. And then we said, but we were kind of rejecting 8 out of 10. We said, can we bring more value on the table for the early stage startup ecosystem? Because we were quite pained with the high failure rate in the startup ecosystem. And could it be, I won't call it safer, but I'll call it more predictable if possible. Then can we increase the probability of success for startups? And that's how Minds was born. We brought in mentors who were already mentoring startups, and we kind of the one addition which Sarthi has given to the startup ecosystem is the word called mentor investor, where we are saying was not only will we guide you, we'll also put money behind your idea if we are convinced. So that's how the Minds program was born, which is actually a mentor investor network for disruptive startups. And then give access to angel networks. SAFE full form is Sarthi Angels for Entrepreneurs. So we've already got some 60 odd angels, 40 from the US, who are investing into our curated startups, either from the VIP or the Minds program. And happy to share that 4 startups already have been introduced to SAFE in around 2 months' time. So use that money to build scale and then access VCs. And that's where the Minds program ends. So that's about our 2 programs. Good traction because of that combination of investment and strategy. We believe that we are the rare folks in the startup ecosystem who are marrying the 2, and therefore bringing more predictability and reducing failure in the startup ecosystem. So our highlight speaker for today, Aditya, I went through your profile and really impressive at such a young age. You can achieve 3x, 5x of Aditya's with the time ahead of you. In fact, he's the CEO of Faad Network, and he's a recognized and successful young entrepreneur achiever, TED speaker, nominated for Padma Shri also in 2020. And like from entrepreneur to enabler, and that's what Faad Network is, an enabler for startups, and it invests up to $1 million in early stage startups. Already it has some 50 plus portfolio companies and almost 700 investors on their platform, and almost 30 crores plus funds already invested. So love to hear from you, Aditya, on your journey of doing a startup of your own, and then how do you see the startup funding environment and this differentiation with Sarthi is bringing enough strategy plus investment. So over to you, Aditya. I won't take more time from you. You can share your talk. Thanks. And you can turn on your video also, Aditya.
Yeah, videos, I think you can see me.
Yeah,
right?
we can see you, Aditya. Yeah, over to
you. Thank you so much, Girish. Thank you so much, Sriram sir, as well, for inviting me here. Indeed a pleasure being here with you all and talking about something which I think all of us absolutely love, which is startups. So what better to spend the weekday and evening and talk about startups. So very excited to be here, and warm greetings to all the investors, startups, ecosystem enablers and the respected participants as well who joined us today. So first of all, I congratulate Team Sarthy for making this institution a platform, a safe platform for entrepreneurs, safe both in literal terms and in colloquial terms as well, right? So helping startups, of course, achieve new heights. Right now, we have about, I think, 60,000 registered startups with the government. But the aim is to, of course, take this to about 2 lakh by the end of this financial year. And with initiatives like Sarthy, I think we are stepping in the right direction to achieve that goal. Frankly, all of us at Faad as well, Sarthy as well, we can try our best to push that mission even further. But I think it has to come from the participation of the startups as well. When we say about startups and investors, we say it's a marriage, right? A marriage helps to take the startup to the next level. It's not like a one-sided affair. It's not like a short relationship, right? It's a marriage for long term, where both the parties have to work in coordination with each other in order to be successful, in order to create a win-win situation for both of these entities. So this is what I personally think, of course, has to happen. And unicorns, of course, is one thing that would come along. Valuations and everything, whatever the hot topics of the ecosystem are, will continue to keep on happening. But one thing that we should always strive for the long term is create value, right? Valuation would be there, but if value is not getting created, then somehow we are losing the essence of starting up in the first place. So that is in fact the purpose with which we started Faad as well. We were entrepreneurs ourselves. And then suddenly in 2019, we decided that let's create this journey of entrepreneurship to a further as an operator in the space, where we can create a network of early stage investors and help startups raise capital. But not just capital, right? More than capital, also get to the next level by the expertise and the mentorship of all the strategic individuals, HNIs, business owners who are participating in that particular round for a start. In fact, capital, I always say that quote whenever I do an investor meet, that capital is the bribe we pay to startup founders in order to allow them to work with us. So at the end of the day, it's the passion for startups and the founders are the ones which we back, right? And capital is just the bribe that we are paying. So at Faad as well, we've close to invested in about 50 companies in the past 2 years. It's been a short journey for us as a network, but it's been exciting and a challenging one in both sense. Exciting because we've been able to, of course, add up numbers. We've been able to build a like-minded community. Challenging because 2 years we've been in the state of lockdown. Right? Millions of dollars have been pushed into the ecosystem, and kind of feels weird, but exciting at the same time as well, that times have changed so much that we haven't even met close to 90% of the portfolios we have invested in. So gone are the days when you used to meet for coffee. Gone are the days when you used to have those fancy hotel meetings. And now it's all been reduced down to a 2x2-inch Zoom call. So, but with changing times, I think it is not just the startups who innovate, it is the investors as well who have to innovate. A lot of new business models I've seen coming up these days, a lot of new exciting action happening as well, particularly in the angel investing space as well. There's a lot of innovation happening on the retail side of applications. Of course, at the end of the day, law will provide more clarity on, of course, how we want to sort of go ahead more on angel investing. But lots of exciting stuff happening. In fact, I've shared trivia on the startup side. Let me share a trivia on the investor side as well. Last year, close to about 1,100 odd investors invested in startups for the first time. Before that, the number was about 700. Before that, the number was about 600. Before that, the number was about 423. In 2010, the number was about meager 72 or 73. So you see the evolution that is happening. More investors are investing in this ecosystem for the first time. More entrepreneurs are coming up, right? More new cities are coming up. It's not just a fight between, as you say, Delhi, Bangalore, or Bombay now. Even Ahmedabad has been picking up. Indore gave birth to close to about 423 startups this year. Right? Kolkata again has been picking up off late as well. But see, so innovation again is happening on all the ends of the spectrum, right? But one thing that I'm very keen is about how do we transfer value to these startups. That is one thing in which I think strong foundation should be built, where early stage investors also help these startups. Capital is something, of course, which I said it will come along. So help in, let's say, raising the next round of capital, or let's say assistance in sort of going to VCs or connecting them with VCs. That is one area, of course, which we will naturally do since we are sometimes stakeholders in these companies as well. But what about the business generation part? What about the go-to-market strategies and everything that is changing? It's a fast-paced world. So projections or business plans are changing by the minute as we speak. So how do investors can transfer that value, that knowledge, or that domain expertise from, let's say, their end to the spectrum end of startups? That's something which we need to develop a framework on. That's something where we need to decide more on what are the kind of actions you need to take. And more than that, we need to also standardize it. The way we talk about standardization of products and services in startups, we need to also start standardizing these kind of templates so that no matter whatever startups are coming into the kitty or the portfolio, we extend the same kind of support to them, no matter whatever sector they are in. That is, I think, would curtail a lot of things, right? People talk about that 90% of startups fail in India, right? But a large part of it is not due to capital. A large part of it is due to the lack of resources or lack of expertise or a lack of business model innovation. And if we as investors don't transfer that value, then at the end of the day, we are falling into that bit of a risky investment as well. So at Faad as well, we've been sort of building a network with that mindset only, wherein we are saying to investors, we are not categorizing investors basis the capital contribution they'll get in an annual year, but basis the value they'll add in that particular startup and in a particular segment. That is more important to us. So I think with that, pretty much the rants of an investor rants are always shorter, but the words I think carry more value. So I'll stop for now. And of course, if there are any questions or any conversations, I'm more than happy to hear that. Over to you, Girish. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that short and sweet speech. My question to you was, is Faad sector agnostic, or are you investing into any particular sectors?
So we are sector agnostic. We invest in all sectors with equal relevance and focus. However, of course, time to time, there are a few preferred sectors which come up following our research into the space.
Great. And is it HNI angels, or do you have angels with smaller ticket sizes also?
So we start most of our investments at 5 lakhs. So I would say it's a mix of a bit of retail plus HNI. However, of course, as I speak, the aim is to become more of a bit of a retail-driven segment as well. But yeah, we are largely driven by HNIs and business owners.
So basically, what you mentioned, the gap, the value part, I really agree that the value need not be only capital. And if there is any template, and that's what our attempt is, I tell my team also, actually, what we are creating is new knowledge in Sarthy of bringing that in strategy piece, which evaluates the idea, team, business model on enterprise strength and returns potential, and then takes it to investors. So that's the value we bring in. And then startups get so much different conflicting advice at times from their mentors. So that's what we have the template, and we are 13 of us in Team Sarthy. But how to ensure that the 13 different advisors conflict only at the idea stage, but when it goes to the startup, it's actually curated and given to them in that piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, open for questions from startups for Aditya. We can ask questions to Aditya. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I will just ask one question. So Aditya, maybe if you can just tell us, how does you do a valuation for the startup, no?
I think Sanjay, you've asked the trickiest question that's there in the book. There's no one particular method or there's no particular straight answer I could give you that this is the formula that I use, because startup valuations are more of an art than science, right? And art changes as per the artist, right? So different industries have a different outlook on valuations. So in fact, yesterday I was talking to someone who's building like a Thrasio model for e-commerce in India. And you've seen a lot of such models coming up, where Upscalio or Code Brands or Mensa, of course, such brands are picking up. There I was learning the VC side of evaluation, where I was talking about a forward multiple, right? Where typically what we say is startups should be valued as of today's present value. But sometimes when you acquire a lot of brands, what Thrasio particularly does, you take a forward multiple on what the situation will be in the next 1.5 years, and then again a re-multiple on how much that situation can grow from let's say the 1.5 years timeline. So in total, about a 5 years forward multiple you take onto a particular valuation. Now, of course, call it stupidity or call it logic or call it brilliance, but every industry has a different segment. I typically evaluate, I'll give you the most jugadu way I use or the most logical way I use. I see and assess that how much capital do you actually need as a startup, right? If you need, let's say, if you're asking for 500K, do you really need that 500K, or will you, let's say, go to the next level at 300K as well? I try to, of course, have a calculation of that amount to the best possible estimate as possible, right? Because the larger capital you raise, you'll push the valuation even higher. So I try to put it with the smallest amount of capital that I could raise, and I investigate that by asking a lot of questions around allocation of funds and around how you could save cost even to the last rupee. That's one thing. Second, I evaluate is the whole growth metrics, right? So I look for that, okay, if you're doing a top line, how could that top line let's increase, which is of course your revenue. I don't go to the least amount of revenue, not the net and PAT, because if I do that, then most 90% of startups won't have a valuation in India, right? Because most of them, of course, don't maintain a healthy or a positive PAT at the end of the day. So then I look forward for that, what could be your year growth, right? Year-on-year growth that you could sort of increase with. And secondly, I sort of compare it with the industry growth, right? So I said industry as a benchmark and see that how has the industry been growing, and is that a technology that could disrupt the growth of the industry and sort of go ahead. So developing all a sense of that, bringing into account how much your dilution also is at the end of the day, because I don't want a startup to dilute more than 20%, or 20 or 21, 22% more than that in any funding round, especially early stages. So then it also has to be a calculation of all of that as well. But I hope I've given you the rough frameworks onto which segment I personally work, Sanjay.
No, I think this is great, because I also always find it challenging to value the valuation for startup, and as you rightly said, it is a art, and trying to put some framework around that. So thanks for your ideas and suggestions. No,
thanks. In fact, one more suggestion I'll give you is that in early stages, specifically, if you are valuing startups, and if there, let's say, a room of negotiation or a room of let's say structuring the round in a better way, then go for more of an unpriced rounds, right? I am personally sort of, I personally don't prefer putting a price right from the pre-seed stage into any startup, because it's impossible to evaluate a price to it. Pre-seed or a seed, you are investing in the potential of a founder, and I can't say the potential of a founder is 20 crores or 50 crores or maybe even 100 crores. So then make it unpriced, do convertibles, tie that founder to maybe the next round valuation, then probably make more sense. But again, these are some of the strategies I'm saying that if you find difficulty in doing the valuation, making it unpriced convertibles or safe notes or agreements, I think these could also be one of the ways in which could structure.
Sure, sounds good. Great, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sanjay.
Aditya, I have a question. What has been your split in terms of B2C versus B2B in your investments so far?
Yeah, it's a very good question. In fact, every startup that comes today is doing both. So technically, you can call it a B2B plus a B2C play as well. But I think good about 60% of investments would be B2B as far as I remember, and about 40% would be in the B2C side.
Is there a tendency to be more B2C focused at this point of time?
It is, right. So B2C depends on the proposition, the sector that's coming up. But again, when you go up B2C, the spend on the marketing spend is somewhat the startups throws us. Sometimes it's unrealistic. So on the B2C side, the user acquisition strategy needs to be clear. So if the user economics or the user metrics are strong on the B2C side, then I think, of course, B2C is a more larger market than B2B and a much more faster moving market. Yeah.
Right. Thanks.
Hi, Aditya. This is Aditya here. I've listened to a few of your YouTube videos and all that. And so I used to wonder, you were one of the first people whom I followed when I was starting to looking for funding, which is like the last 11 months. What sort of companies, because you're sector agnostic, right? How do you decide that you're going to invest in this company and not in this company? What is that thin line which makes you take the call?
Yeah, Parasi, good to see you here. Do remember connecting from, I think, the Clubhouse days as well. We connected. Yeah. So good connecting. So for me, again, see, the thin line is, as I talk about, most of my bet comes on the founder. When I'm investing early, everything I know can possibly change that I'm investing in right now. But it's the founder's belief, conviction, understanding of that space, and the mindset with which they are building their whole proposition, the understanding they have around the problem that they're trying to solve. I think that is where, if Shravan, I think Shravan is probably driving, so if you could probably keep it on mute, Shravan, if you could do that, that would be great. So yeah, anyways, coming back to the answer. So it's about the founders. If founders don't look that exciting enough for me, or if I don't think that they are, they'll lead it in a longer way, I kind of try to stay away. In fact, just before coming on this call, I was in talk with the startup, which was building a good solution in the roundup investing space, right? The new space that's coming up in India. In US, of course, you've seen already a few companies going big and becoming unicorns, but India is a newer market. Exciting space, right? And how, of course, they're building as well. But the team was something where I didn't find a lot of value, although they had good partnerships, good investors and everything. And that became a thin line where the entire board said yes, but I had the fine board and I kind of said no, and we kind of passed along the transactions. That's the thin line in between.
Thank you.
Aditya,
this is Ragesh here, founder of Scopin.com. Nice to meet you. So Aditya, one thing that I have seen with the startups, especially is that their awareness in terms of the investment area, okay, is far too less than what is required. It's almost like students not passing out and having a job, but yet trying to figure out what will happen after the job, right? Now the problem is the investors know very clearly what they are up to, and each investor has got their own characteristics. No investor is same, right? Some of them want to kind of exit, and some of them want to keep it, some of them want to grow it, some of them want to be passionately involved. All those sorts of things are there with the investors. But as far as startup is concerned, his only dream is, I want to grow this company. And he's very passionate about the company. So he doesn't know the other part of the story, and that awareness is not built. So I'm hoping that cohorts like this will definitely help in that. But what's your thought on how to kind of start giving that piece of information, even otherwise, to an average startup who doesn't have access to cohorts like this, and who hasn't grown to that level?
It's a very good thought. Sorry, didn't catch your name. Can you come back again? Your name?
My name is Rakesh Jimenez.
Very beautiful question. See, it's like a financial knowledge, right? When we say about that Indians in largely particular lack in financial knowledge, and founders in particular also lack on the investment side of things. It's okay, you want to build a great business, but you won't do it alone, right? You need the help of, let's say, investors as well. You need certain funds as well to go along. And if you don't understand that side of the game, then you are in a way letting external stakeholders probably take up a larger piece of your dream as well. So it's a perpetual journey. I would in fact request to all the founders as well that before they go ahead, they raise capital, it's also sort of paramount to understand and identify how do you go about venture financing as well, right? Some of founders that have come up to me, in fact, with a basic question on a term sheet as well, right? What is founders lock in? Oh, my shares are locked in. Some founders have come in with few basic questions on how do you structure ESOPs, and why is it necessary? Why is it required? Such basic questions keep coming every day, right? And sometimes I ask as an investor that how could I tell you like how much shares you want to give to your employees, right? Why can't you decide for yourself? They say you as an investor, of course, can give better clarity. But these sort of questions sometimes are also put me off, because you are not very serious then about the fundraising aspect. You're just going out there and you think that if you get the funds, then that's done. Then I think that's not thing. That's the starting of, in fact, everything. So research more before you sort of raise capital, I would say. Learn about these terms. Plenty of material is available online as well, right? For free. In fact, I started my own YouTube channel with that same vision as well, so that I can spread more knowledge on how to sort of look at these things. And I've been creating some of the videos as well around these topics. So I would say research more, learn more about these things. Y Combinator, of course, as an online resource, has a whole playlist around how to, of course, look at the investing side of things. Research more on that. Cohorts, of course, as you said, the ones brought by Sarthy are definitely a step in the right direction, where the democratization of knowledge needs to be done. So no one is stopping you, of course, to get this knowledge, but you also have to, as a founder, take the initiative yourself. Investor will not come and tell to you and explain these things while you are raising capital. But as a founder, sometimes you also have to sort of go ahead and take a separate path and learn all of these things before you start raise capital. And yes, you can learn. It's not a rocket science. So the moment you start, I think founders are smart. So founders are smarter than investors, I always believe. So they'll quickly catch up on these things. But yeah, that knowledge needs to be there. And I hope more value gets created.
Thank you.
Sriram had a point.
Yeah. Hi, Aditya. Thanks for the knowledge sharing session. My question to you is, see, off late, we're seeing some reverse migration, people moving back to India. What are your views on drone technology or something in the aerospace where you don't have too many industry guidance? Is that something that you guys look at? And if so, do you have a team that where you could have some comparison for industry analysis?
Exciting space. In fact, we've been looking at drone space, not very aggressively, but we have one portfolio investment by the name of Bouvier, which raised funds from us. And then recently, in fact, was in the news, they raised funds from Hrtech Capital as well, Hrtech Ventures as well. And we were the first investors in that space. So I would say we haven't penetrated it. We have looked at that space, but again, with drone, we haven't sort of got too many positive insights that how the acceptance will come across industries, right? And whether the role of a drone is just on surveillance side, or does it go deep and more into analytics and changing the shape of an industry as well? Up until now, if you look at the budget had three terms which ring the bell. One was, of course, cryptocurrency for all the wrong reasons. Second was, of course, if you look at was drone, right? Which was spoken a lot about. In fact, the FM also spoke about drone Shakti as a part of the entire Gati Shakti program as well, and spoke about the Kisan drone program, where, of course, agriculture could be monitored through drones, and also giving access to private players in defense space, where startups are also given a nod that they can participate in some of the defense activities as well, right? So after that, I have even become more positive, because I started to get that acceptance that, okay, the government is not just looking at drone as another fly off the wheel, right? It's looking at there as a deeper market instrument where it can monitor the space and guide more further. So we, again, I have put some of my team onto it to study more on this space and get more sort of insights on what the kind of hardware that's getting built and the software as well. some of the challenges that the hardware mostly comes from China, right? And software is where the people lack, because there is lack of technology awareness. B, there is a lack of defensibility, because there is no software patent available in India, right? You can't patent a software in India. So, but again, as I said, we are still looking at this space, and I hope this space will sort of explode in the coming times. So very positive about that.
Just to add here, Shriram, actually government of India today announced that import of drones has been banned, okay, to encourage, make in India for drones. So this is, I think, going to be a significant development, and we'll see a lot of action. But it is interesting to hear from Aditya that, drone infra, I mean, hardware is actually imported. So hope there is some development on that front as well.
Sure.
Yeah. But drones were running deep. Yeah.
Sorry.
No. So I was saying that drones were earlier running deep into places where human intervention wasn't accessible, right? Where wasn't possible. But now drones are coming to the forefront and giving that that above the ground status as well. That is something that I'm even more excited about coming time.
Excellent.
We have time for just one last question. Yeah. Anybody has any question? It'll be great.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I like Aditya, if you could share your thoughts on investing in deep tech startups, particularly deep tech startups who are targeting global markets like the US and Europe and so on. Any thoughts on that? And I just wanted to make one small comment. You said that software is not patentable in India. I mean, that's not very accurate. I get a lot of software patents granted in India for my clients. So like Nirama Health Analytics has got 25 patents granted. So
so as what I said is, software as a whole, you can't patent. You can patent the individual applications of software, you can do that. But as a whole, you can't say that this is software and you patent the whole of software. As of, again, I'm not a legal expert, but from what I've experienced, but again, I might be wrong on this as well, Arjun. Happy to speak to you more on that. But from what the investing experience has been, it's kind
Arjun's
of,
question on deep tech.
Yeah, of course. Coming to that now. So again, Arjun, with deep tech, we are looking at that space with some focus as well. We haven't backed a lot of deep tech startups, I would say, up until now. We've backed a few in the analytics space where more motion sensing technology are used in the softwares, in the sports application software side, or basic technologies being used in the surveillance side, which is more of your video monitoring analytics and that space. So we've looked at a few of these startups, invested in a few of them as well. But the whole challenge with that I've personally seen with the startups I've interacted up until now is that the time to market is too much, right? A lot of research has been like the time to take a product and time to maturity has been too much. Founders end up spending a lot, right? Then that application, of course, by the time it comes in, there are so many other players as well, which come up, and so many of global players as well, which are now looking at India market as keen. And the challenge is that Indian market for a lot of deep tech startups is not that attractive or not that very big, and they naturally give an option to, of course, move it to, let's say, a UAE or a UK or a US, where acceptance of these products and also the average, the value that you get, the contractual value and the lifetime value is that you get much more higher. So that is the whole challenge. I haven't seen someone who's built with a lot of traction. I haven't seen a lot someone who's kind of solved a real problem out there. I've seen a lot of Me Too's happening in the deep tech space. And even if I've seen someone who's breaking the ice, the valuation has been immense, right? The valuation has been something which is not even the acceptance rate. So that has been my experience, but I look forward to, of course, learning more on this space and kind of investing in new startups.
Yeah. Thanks, Aditya. In fact, I'm being inundated with questions, but we've already overshot time. So I'll share Aditya's email ID with you. You can interact with him directly if you want. And I'll go to the next part of our presentation, Aditya. Maybe you like some of the startups.
Hope he has time to interact with us.
No, he will.
So this is a rare opportunity,
Sarthy and Faad are coming closer. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know that.
Yeah. So the next part of the thanks Aditya. It was really nice. Understanding your knowledge of so many different verticals was really nice, and we'll surely be in touch with you as a cohort also and as Sarthi also. Yeah, and you can continue. We'll be going into the next part of our presentation. We will be introducing our startups. So over to you, Abhilasha, to introduce the startups of this cohort 3.
Yeah, thank you, Girish. So yeah, we have a very exciting lineup of startups, and I'll be calling upon the founders to briefly introduce their startup in like 30 seconds. So yeah, first we have Blue Element Technologies. So they specialize in building innovative products in Hrtech. So I'd like to welcome Vinod, Anurag, Madhu, and Inder. So yeah, if Vinod John, inviting Vinod John to come and talk about his startup.
Hey, Abhilasha, thank you very much. Like Abhilasha said, we are a 3-year-old company into building technology products in HR technology. We have 4 co-founders. We have built 2 products, one in the candidate management space, post-offer and post-offer, and the other is the employee rewards and recognition space. So we have 2 products that we built, and over 15 customers that we acquired over the last 6 months or so. That's about briefly about us.
Yeah. Thank you, Vinod. Next, we have Jaiho, which is an Edtech startup that is building foundational capabilities in pre-coding among students. So yeah, welcome Sri Nagavir and P. Srini. So I'd like to call upon Sri Nagavir to say a few words about Jaiho.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Nagvir, and I have my co-founder Srini here. At this point of time, we are focused in solving the NEP 2020 problem statement of class 4.25, where we are addressing to solve pre-coding capabilities and coding capabilities among students in India.
Yeah, so that's an opportunity that we could identify as a part of our research, because we are a current organization where we provide the same solution to the university engineering students, and we see that 80% of them still cannot cope up only because they had a challenge on their foundational element which was missed in their preschool or the school time. And that's an area where the government is also kind of complementing through the 4.25 clause. And we are the one who is actually doing some pilots in some of the schools, which is giving a very positive result. And we see that 250 million students are the opportunity for us to take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So next we have Robo Fun Labs. So they are also an Edtech startup. So they help students develop the necessary 21st century tech skills to robotics, coding, IoT, 3D printing, interesting areas. So yeah, I'd like to call upon Ashwin Shah and welcoming Manoj, Ashwin, and Abhi to Sarthi. Ashwin, if you could just say a few words about Robo Fun Lab.
Ashwin, you're there?
Sorry, Girish, I just lost you. Yes.
Yeah, just turn on your video also, Ashwin. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Hi, everyone, and so happy to be a part of this cohort. And we look forward for some really good insights from these experts and gain a lot from this.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Yeah, pleasure.
Next, we have Sal Biosciences. So they are a biotech venture that aims to develop a new evolution in biomanufacturing to make it more cost efficient and sustainable. Welcoming Sumant and Sharath. I'd like to call upon Sharath to talk about Sal Biosciences.
Hey, thank you. Hey, this is Sharath Vasista representing Sal Biosciences, and we are a niche company who are into pharma tech, biotech, and related activities. So our focus is more on a service model called RAS. We call ourselves as a RAS company, which is research as a service, where we focus more on a pharma tech and biotech space, providing these software solutions to such sectors as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So next we have Coupin, and they're providing a recruitment solution in the learning and development industry. So calling Rajesh to say a few words about Coupin.
Hi everyone, this is Rajesh here, founder of Coupin.com. We are world's first on-demand and managed recruitment solution for the training industry. Here we create unconnected market access between the trainers and the deserving market. wherein a company can put up their requirements live and the system will automatically tag it to appropriate trainers live and instant. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. And we have about 2,000 trainers registered with us, and with an extended family of 5,000 trainers, further extended to another 6,000 through social media. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll welcome Ragesh and Midun to Sarthi. So next we have Swizzle. Next we have 60 Plus. So they are 60 Plus is an end-to-end parent management technology platform for senior citizens living away from their children in India. So welcome Oli, Arasi, and Vivek. So
and I love the word parent management, RC. My dad will kill me if I tell him I'm going to manage him.
That was the whole idea, Girish. Yeah, hi. Thanks for making us a part of Sarthi team. It is indeed a honor. And 60 Plus is a year old now. We'll be a year old to next month. And we started off when the COVID hit us, and we realized a lot of kids are abroad and they need some kind of a streamlined flow of communication between the parents and the kids who are here alone. That's the reason 60 Plus was born. And we call ourselves, we are the Heathtech center, which is Heathtech is not really fast in India, and so we're trying to get into the sector and work on it. And so you like our elevator pitch said, we are an end-to-end parent management company. Thank you.
Thank you, Arasi. So next we have Swizzle. They are a food and beverage company in the business of providing the finest cocktail experiences to consumers and businesses in the hospitality segment. So welcoming Brinda and Dipender. I'd like to call Brinda to say hi.
Hi guys, this is Brinda, and so on a mission to provide consumers with a completely different experience when they consume alcohol. So we want to achieve it by providing them handcrafted and premium cocktails. In India, 3 out of 5 alcohol consumers consume alcohol at home. So love the alcohol experience, but pleasure of the taste. That's why 1 out of 5 alcohol consumers prefer cocktails. But enjoying fresh quality cocktails at home requires a lot of talent, expertise, and bar utensils and ingredients as well. So not everyone has these expertise, but everyone wants to have a fresh and tasty cocktail. So we provide a complete cocktail experience at home in which we provide a fresh premix, a fresh garnish, and stirrers and a peg measure, and also an info card which tells you how to prepare the cocktail. So as to give a complete cocktail experience.
Thank you, Brinda. So next we have Trip Thrill. So they are an expertly curated marketplace of handpicked homestays across the finest holiday destinations. And welcoming Raghu, Shivraj, and Gaurav to Sarthi. And yeah, I'd like to call Raghu to say a few words about Trip Thrill.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good to be connected here, and absolutely, stoked to be a part of this whole cohort. Thank you, Abhilasha, for the introduction. As she said, Trip Thrill, we are an expertly curated marketplace where we handpick our homestays and ensure that there's a good quality of service provided to the guests. And it's more of a memory and experience, something that people would like to carry for a lifetime. And we're here to curate those kind of holidays and experiences across some of the very nice destinations in India. We're currently operational in a couple of states. We were operational in more spaces pre-COVID, but we've been forced to shut down some of our operations in certain aspects in certain areas. And we look forward, as travel is opening up, we're trying to see how we can rework with a lot more new kind of, new age travelers, who have a different expectation, and we look forward to seeing how people change their ideas or the concepts of travel, and we're here to cater to those kind of requirements on that. So absolutely stoked to be here, and it's wonderful to connect with all you guys, and look forward to a lot of nice learning experiences across. A lot of interesting ideas I can see across in the discussion here, and a lot of I would say new thoughts have come up, as to see how we can collaborate and work together with a lot of the startups which could be part of this cohort. And I'm thrilled to be here.
We're thrilled to have you, Raghu. Thank you. So next and lastly, we have Video, which is a live commerce marketplace that enables offline retail stores to interact with customers for shopping. So we have the founders, Shravan, Sujita, and Satish here. Shravan, would you like to introduce video?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Shravan.
No, I'm traveling. Sujita, it would be great if you can give the introduction.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Sujita, co-founder of Video, and I have my other two founders, Shravan and Satish. So we are basically, work from Hyderabad. So to tell more about Video is a video commerce marketplace where we enable offline stores directly connect with the customer. So the shopping can be done directly with the stores by interacting with the store with video chat or video calling or chat or even we have catalog feature in our app. So we are here to like connect with you people to get more experience, and also we also want to like get connected with the venture capitalists. We are looking for funding as we are bootstrapped so far. So that's more about Video, and yeah, looking forward to have a great journey with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks, Abhilasha. Thanks for the quick and crisp introductions of all the startups. So I'll spend the next 5 minutes only sharing a little more details because we've got audience besides the startups and besides our mentor investors also. So I'll quickly share about Minds and what we claim to achieve and plan to achieve, which is being the only program in the world to make a startup fundable with the guaranteed funding at the right valuation. That's our tagline, and it's a sky high tagline, and we claim and plan to also achieve it. Yeah. So this is Team Sarthi. We've grown quite quickly. We were 5 of us till July 21, and now we've grown to 13 members. The key people for cohort 3 who will be the mentor investors is Mr. Manoj Turakia. Manoj, you want to say hi? Yeah, you're mute, Manoj.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I'm really excited to be here as a part of the Minds program. I'm basically in the US right now, and I live here most of the year. It's fantastic to see all the ideas over here. I think we have a great bunch of startups, and we hope to take them forward in their journey, and it's an exciting journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Manoj. Ranjit is also from the US. So we've got 2 mentor investors for cohort 3 from the US. Ranjit, you want to say hi?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, good afternoon. So thank you very much, Girish. Ranjit here, like Girish said, not very far from Manoj. I'm based in here in Atlanta. Started my career in consulting, moved to IT services, and part of Capgemini today. It is interesting, exciting. I've been in the startup space, I would say broadly from 2010-11 onwards. Worked in one for a bit, and been mentoring and investing in startups for some time now. This is an exciting space, as we all heard in the last hour or so today. And I think very excited to be here and looking forward to working with this new cohort of startups as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ranjit. Amar, you want to quickly say hi?
Hi, everyone. Amar here. I'm based out of Bangalore. I have about 25 years of corporate experience, and for the last 4 years, I'm in the space of startups, mentoring and consulting with them. So really excited to be here and look forward to connect with each one of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And Shiv, you're the last.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. So Shiv Kumar, I'm based out of Bangalore, come with about 25 years, and I've spent last 10-12 years investing and being part of various startups, not in the startup kind of thing, but more into the brick and mortar kind of startups. So I'm more excited to be part of this cohort, and looking forward to not just mentoring but learning as well. And it's going to be an exciting journey, is what I feel. Really look forward to. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Shiv. So they'll be supported by the 9 of us behind. They'll be the front ending the mentor investor interactions with the startup and supported by all of us. So we've got other mentor investors also, but I don't have time to introduce them. You can check out about Team Sarthy later. But overall, 50 plus years, 200 plus years of experience, 50 plus angel startup experience, 20 plus startups, angel investments, and across different domains. So like I was claiming to someone, anyone under the sun is 2 steps away from Team Sarthy. It's like what Aditya was also mentioning, like as an investor, it's good if you enable the startup also to scale up to the next level. So that's what this Minds program is all about. It's not only about investments, but enablement also to use the investor money to reach the next level. So I just quickly share a few slides. Just many of you have seen this. Like this is the red boxes where we are playing in, which is the early stage, high mortality rate startup ecosystem, where people look at friends and family for support. And VCs also claim that you have to solve this yourself. This journey has to be planned and passed by you yourself. They will come into play when you reach a particular MRR or have these particular downloads. So this is where Sarthy is trying to organize, systemize, processifies on the enterprise strength and returns potential to ensure that VCs also get right startups, startups also get funding when they are ready for funding. So this is where we play in, and it's kind of blown up here. So we support you to raise angel round. Once you are ready for angel funding, we support you to raise VC round when you are ready for VC funding. And we've created some MRR criteria for that, but more about it will come in the program. So, and we exit, we kind of, our job is over, hand over to the VC, and he supports for the Series A, Series B rounds and moving forward with you. So we are there hand-holding you till the VC funding. And how we are different, currently, if you look at the other incubation acceleration programs, it's more about existing startup founder coming and telling how he won or how he got 10 million funding. Now, how is that relevant to the startup in a different domain, in a dynamic startup ecosystem, where suddenly there's a different space which becomes in vogue, like D2c or like deep tech. So ours is a very dynamic program which tries to fit in every startup's different needs and matches its pace. So it's not a program which ends in 3 months or 6 months. We're matching your pace to succeed, help you succeed up to VC funding. And we are not in the selection mindset game. We want all 9 cohort startups to succeed technically. And that's what we'll be endeavoring for in the discovery phase, followed by the silver, gold, where we'll put you going forward. Yeah. So it's going to be customized as per your pace and your need as a startup. Of course, we need a particular domain stage startup, which we've selected. So we had almost 120 plus applications. We made almost 22 startups pitch, and we selected 9 of you. Yeah. So it's like that filtration is done. But post this, we want to support each one of you to win in this game and kind of take over that load, because many times we see startup founders giving 80% of their time to investment versus their business, which is wrong. But you founded a company to work on the company rather than running after investors to get money for your startup. So kind of take over that load. First of all, guide you whether you are ready for funding or no. And then if you are ready for funding, take over that load of reaching out to the right partners who will help you scale and reach the next level. So that's our idea in this. It's an investment focused program. It's a virtual program. So that's why we've got mentors also from across the world. We've got startups also from across the country. It's highly customized and personalized, and with a partnership model. So you'll have a lead mentor who's also going to become your investor going forward. But after the discovery phase gets over, we are kind of committing, and that's where the guaranteed funding comes in. The folks you are going to mentor, you are also going to become your investors post the discovery phase. So they're marrying their success with your success, not only giving you guidance, but also putting money on the table to make you successful. Yeah. So more and more, like when we meet the day after tomorrow in the kickoff, you'll see the strategy, because we started with being strategy consultants. So that's how we saw the absence of strategy in the startup ecosystem, and this program was born. And we'll be applying those tools only, which normally 1,000 crore plus turnover companies use. We're applying those tools for you to assess first and then guide you in that. Otherwise, mentorship is very messy. If you go to 5 mentors, you'll get 6 ideas how to take your startup forward, and you'll come back to ground zero confused. In our case, it's going to be guided mentorship. So each mentor also has specific templates or guiding on a specific domain only. But we won't give you random mentorship as our commitment to you. So that's what I had to share. So anybody who's an investor or an angel in this platform, Sanjay is the right person to contact, because we, as I mentioned, we have our own angel network. It's already got 60 members, growing fast to 100. We'll be 100 angel investors in the next 30 days or so. And if you're a startup, you can check your investment readiness score on sarthi.vip and accordingly decide whether you're fit for VIP or Minds. And then you can apply for whichever you suits. So that's all for my side. Happy to take questions. For the startups, Saturday 5:30 to 7:30 is a critical day. So ensure most of your co-founders are there. Yeah. Basically, it's a DIY program going forward after Saturday. You'll be given exercises to work on. You'll be given a little of hand-holding also to complete those exercises, and we'll be assessing you on the templates. So Saturday 5:30 to 7:30 is critical. So that's all I had to share. Happy to take any questions from anyone, be it
Girish, I have a question, please.
Yeah, Ragesh.
This is Ragesh here once again.
Go ahead, Ragesh.
I'm just a little curious to know what was your selection criteria for this 120 startups? Just wanted to know how we have ended up here so that you know the benchmark. At least we can set a benchmark for ourselves.
So see, this is Bill Gross's success factors. They've invested into almost 100 odd startups. See, the first is timing, which to some extent a startup founder cannot control. The second is because the team. So if the team is good, even if the idea is, I'll say mediocre or slightly better than mediocre, the team will find out the great idea, which is hidden in that mediocre idea. So the second was the team. Is there a team behind that? The third is the idea then. So we had 7 assessments. All our mentor investors were there in that panel to decide team, idea, and fourth is business model. So if you've got an idea, you've got traction, business model means revenue streams, how you are engaging with your customers. These are the 4 parameters on which we rated all the startups and we selected the top 9 or 10.
Great. Thanks, Girish.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, Girish, as usual, I have another question.
Yeah.
The last 10 months is when all the 3 of us have been serial entrepreneurs. We've started a lot of companies and we've sold out a few and all that. But last 10 months is when we've been learning a lot about investment, the terms, the finances and all that. And so we've got a pre-seed funding. And so it was very difficult for me to break down the whole pre-seed funding, the document, the financial document, and then, again, construct it, deconstruct it and construct it. And so if there is a session in Sarthi going forward, which can actually help us break down the terms and conditions in a term sheet to understand it better would be great.
Yeah, I see it'll come after the discovery phase. The discovery phase is only about assessing your business. Yeah.
And so that will not be taught during the discovery phase.
No,
is it?
discovery is post-discovery. See, your financial modeling, all that, your business development plan, all that is post-discovery.
Okay, and so if we have a doubt, can we reach out to one of you guys to help us understand certain points and all?
Sure, you can. You can reach out. Yeah, you got experts.
Yeah. Hi, Girish. Srinath here from Wellness Foods.
Yeah. Hi, Srinath.
Yeah. My question is on the valuation of companies.
Yeah.
Okay. So with, the registered valuer valuating the company and, vis-a-vis the angel investors or the VCs valuating, what is the process you guys follow on the valuation? Like there is a standard structure of getting a valuation report and then diluting the equity and stuff like that, right?
No,
so
we don't recommend that for early stage startups.
Right.
Aditya also mentioned that early stage, the best instrument to raise money is a CCD, convertible.
Okay.
Push the valuation to where you have some matrix to measure valuation. Otherwise, so early stages, you want the founder, the idea, but there are no matrix. There's no P&L to talk about price to earnings ratio. There's no valuation to turnover ratio, because all these. So what our recommendation is, don't go into valuation game unless you've reached a particular level. Till that time, push the valuation to the next round, which is ideally a VC round.
Yeah, I mean, here we have the mentor stroke investors, right? So that the equity has to be diluted to them. Okay. In the context of Sarthi and a startup need to dilute a portion of equity to an angel investor. In this case, a mentor investor. So the valuation of equity shares is done based on a registered value report, or it's more on a compulsory convertible debenture, as you just mentioned to me.
That's the preferred route for. See, we have angel networks who will value, and at that time also, if someone asks Sarthi, what is the valuation? We prefer that you push the valuation for the later stage, because otherwise there'll be always that tussle. Angel investor you don't have any matrix to value you at that, and you won't want a lower valuation because you'll be diluting too much of your company in the early stage. So that's that chicken and egg game. So if someone comes to Sarthi, we recommend do it with a VC kind of a level where your valuation is 10 crore up. Then the valuation also becomes logical, because I can create a valuation of any amount by creating future matrix which do not have any foundation.
Yeah,
you waste 75,000 with a valuer, he will value you at X crores, but nobody will believe that valuation because it's on a piece of Excel. It's an Excel sheet created valuation.
Yes, absolutely.
So don't go into it in the early stages, our recommendation.
Right. Thank you, Girish. It was
Thanks. Thanks
Hi,
for
Girish.
joining.
Girish, just a question here. Sharath Vasishtha from Sal Biosciences.
Go ahead,
so are there any or were there any situations that has happened that is between debt versus equity, or it's 100% equity that we are talking about?
It's 100% equity only currently.
Okay.
What we're talking was all equity. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hello, I have a question, Girish.
Yeah, go ahead, Dipinder.
Yeah, Dipinder this side from Switzerland. So basically, as we told you that we have raised the money on the on this convertible debentures only, but when we are pitching to other investors, so the problem was that they were not happy to come on board on the basis of CCDs. So they were pushing more on okay, just give us that equity thing right now. So how can we overcome that thing?
So if someone brings a big amount, then it's understood that he's bringing a big amount, and big amount, as far as I'm considering, is a crore and above. Then it's worthwhile to agree the right valuation. If an individual or institution is bringing big amount, then valuation is required in the game.
So it was not a big amount. It was like just 15 lakhs thing.
Then I think it'll be unfair either side, because it'll be a big haggling. And Shark Tank, Sanjay and I also have big debates on it. Someone wanted 80 lakhs at a 7 million valuation, and he landed up giving 80 lakhs at 1 million. So I was joking with Sanjay, how can something be worth X by 7 in a matter of minutes?
Yeah, I also saw one of the shows. So in that they were asking for a somewhat evaluation of, I guess, 25 or 30 CR, and they ended up on the same evaluation which they raised in the previous round. So it's kind of that thing. Shark Tanks,
So
I don't know
this game
how.
is always it's who's right, who's wrong, I don't know. Investor will always say I'm taking a larger risk. So I'm the one who's coming early, so I should be the one who's getting the benefit of doubt. You will say, if I dilute equities in the first rounds only, then what equity is left for the later rounds?
So as you mentioned, CCD is the best tools which you should
which also
go
has
with.
to be structured lightly. The CCD is easy to say, but how much discount over the next round, all that, it has to be structured rightly is our recommendation. And we'll come to it. See, first focus on the business. First focus on getting your business right, and then these topics are important. But I think for Sarthi, you'll have to wait for these topics to get opened and the right answers to emerge.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so I think we have overshot time also. So when we'll take questions from you, we are there together in this journey. So we take more questions from you. So I think any questions from anyone who's not a part of cohort 3? Any questions from anyone who'd love to take that? Otherwise, we can end this session and we'll have a small internal meeting. Yeah. Anyone?
Basically, I'm not a part of this cohort.
Yeah. Okay.
But I saw the invite today and saw that my ex was Guru, I call it, as whom I have worked with. Mr. Suryanarayanan was in your panel.
Yeah, he is.
Basically, I had worked with him on his Medibase. The company was incorporated by us when we were consultants. And also, we had incorporated his Medi-Assist also.
Okay.
To be very frank with you, when we had worked out. Initially, it was great to see him again, I thought. The question is here, I don't know much about the cohort. How do I know about the cohort's future programs and future inductions?
So we'll be in touch. You can just put your number in the chat box and we'll be in touch. Someone from Sarthi will get in touch with you, sir.
Yeah, because why I'm asking this question, not for me, for many of my clients who are startups have these doubts, which you are into it. So that is the thing.
Yes, we'll get in touch with you, sir. And we have a 5-minute test on our website to tell a startup whether they are ready for funding or no. and whether they're ready for the Minds program or VIP program, they can go to our website and they'll get the 5-minute test.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And see you soon, the cohort participants. See you on Saturday. Thank you. And thanks for joining. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.